Hi, today I'm here with Larry Wood. He's the founder of the Florida Hawksbill Project and the research coordinator for the National Save the Turtle Foundation. Thanks for joining us today, Larry.
Well, thank you very much. Glad to be here.
Okay, so how long have you been working with the Hawksbills?
I started the Hawksbill project in 2004, so here we are in 2017. So, yeah, it's been a little while now.
Nice.
But, yeah, it's been an ongoing project. It runs year-round, and it's kind of one of those projects that really doesn't have an ending.
Okay, so is the project just everything about Hawksbills, or is there anything in particular that you're working on?
Yeah, what I had found many years ago, after been working with sea turtles in Florida for many years, is the attention paid to those turtles that nest on the beaches is really quite thorough. There's a tremendous amount of work that goes on all around the state to very carefully document the nesting that takes place and how many turtles and how many nests and how many hatchlings make it. And all of those things are very important. But that leaves out another part of the sea turtles biology here in Florida, and that's what they do the rest of the time, out there in the ocean, which is most of the time for sea turtles. And I found that among those species that were being studied here in Florida, people had really not paid much attention to the hawksbill sea turtle, which is not as well known in Florida, because they prefer not to nest on the beaches like those other species do. But they do use our offshore environments, specifically coral reefs, for homes. And so I became very interested in what Florida means to the region's sea turtles, specifically hawksbills, from the standpoint of the in-water environment.
Interesting. So what are you hoping to sort of achieve with your project? What is the expected impact?
Well, sea turtles are interesting in that they're very widely distributed animals. So they may travel thousands and thousands of miles in their lives. They may return to specific places to lay their eggs predictably. But in between those times, they have very, very wide-ranging animals. And because hawksbill turtles are more closely associated with lower latitudes throughout the tropics of the world, Florida is kind of on the northern end of that latitudinal range. Florida officially is a subtropical environment, but the Gulf Stream provides warm water offshore, which enables coral reefs to grow along our coastline. And it's these coral reefs that have attracted hawksbill turtles from other parts of the Caribbean to come and spend time here, develop here, and live until they can become old enough themselves to return to those places throughout the southern latitudes to reproduce themselves. So the importance of the work here in Florida is to provide a piece of the map for hawksbill conservation life cycles, you can call it natural history, in a place that we just haven't studied them before. It's a very simple formula that says you cannot protect an animal if you don't know where they are. And so we're doing what we can to figure out where they are and why Florida hosts as many hawksbills as it does.
Now, hawksbills are an endangered species, correct?
Hawksbill turtles are highly endangered species. When I say highly, that becomes confusing. Endangered is a listing that is obtained through a tremendous amount of effort and research on the part of scientists. The Endangered Species Act has very strict guidelines on what it takes for a species to be considered endangered. And unfortunately, hawksbill turtles happen to be one of those that's made it all the way to the top of that list, onto the critically endangered species list. And that simply means that it's estimated that there are fewer than 10% of the original populations in existence today. So they are very, very rare animal and require our help, or attention at least, if we expect them to be around in the future.
Nice. All right, and is your current funding sufficient for you to complete your project?
Well, we'd all like to drive Porsches on our way to our research projects, but short of that, I'm fortunate that I've been able to find some funding for my research through foundations and other sources of sea turtle support. I am now consulting with the National Save the Sea Turtle Foundation, which is a foundation based in Fort Lauderdale, whose mission is to support research and conservation of sea turtles throughout Florida and surrounding regions. So I'm fortunate in that most of the needs that I have for my specific research projects are covered, but we'd always like to do more. And if we can get more partners asking bigger questions, then certainly the budgets will go up from there and can go up from there. But that depends on the types of questions that are being asked. And so I've been able to use the resources that I've been able to obtain so far to focus here in Southeast Florida for this species. Someday we'd certainly like to go more regionally. In that case, we may require more funding.
Okay, so hard to say sort of how much because you don't know the scope of the project yet, right?
Yeah, these types of projects can take you so far away from home. That sort of a little bit what I was mentioning before, is that I can study a given, let's use hawksbill turtles as an example. A hawksbill turtle that I may find in South Florida was likely born somewhere in Mexico or Costa Rica or some other faraway place. And then when they leave Florida again on their lifetime journeys, they'll return to those places again, potentially. And so I'm only studying a piece of that range. So the potential certainly exists to make some connections between the populations we find in South Florida and those that we find throughout the rest of the Caribbean.
Is there anything else you'd like to tell us?
Well, certainly if people are interested in conserving sea turtles and hawksbill turtles in particular, we invite you to visit the National Save the Sea Turtle Foundation's website, which is www.savetheseaturtle.org, and learn more about all the different programs that the foundation supports. And we always urge people, if they're out and about traveling around the world, to avoid products made from genuine tortoiseshell, which is misleading at times because it does not originate from tortoises. It comes from the hawksbill of sea turtles, which is the primary reason why they're as rare as they are today. So we strongly encourage people to avoid purchasing products in their travels around the world that are made from genuine tortoiseshell.
Sounds great, Larry. All right, well, thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you.